That game's always in the back of our heads, for sure.
Y'all got a countdown in the locker room?
Oh, there's a countdown in the weight room right outside the cafeteria. There's one right outside this room right here.
When we say Michigan, you say what?
I say team up north, man. Team up north.
He's only been there for 6 months.
Hey,
and he's still,
listen, I had to buy in. You know, I'd get slapped upside the head if I said that M word around here. So.
Light it.
Edition of the Triple Option presented by Wendy's. Try Wendy's new saucy nugs today. The visuals tell me something's different this week. I'm Rob Stone. There's Mark Ingram. We went to the bullpen. We called for the lefty, Mark.
Who is this guy?
You know what to do, baby. You know what to do.
Who is this guy?
By the way,
Leinart,
the Dodgers need to call. The Dodgers need to call me for the bullpen too. Just saying.
Doyers.
What up, boys?
We got my Heisman brother from another.
Hey, I appreciate being on Triple Option with you boys, man. Let's talk a little ball, baby.
We will talk a little ball. Coach Meyer unable to join us this week. So much going on in the state of Florida right now. We'll get to that in a second. But Matt, welcome. Good to see you, my friend.
Yeah, you too, man.
Thanks for loaning me your garage earlier in the season. All right, this week we are going to talk to Ohio State quarterback Will Howard ahead of Saturday's massive top 3 showdown in Eugene against the Ducks. We're gonna do an Alabama wellness check on you. Make sure the temperature's all right. Make sure everything is going okay. Same for you, Mr. USC as well. We're going to tell you what.
Yeah, I'm not laughing. Trust me.
No, it was a wild week 6. We'll tell you what we learned from that. We're going to look ahead to a stacked week 7. Before we get underway, I want to remind you: subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, as well as across social media. Again, you can find us at 3X Option Show. Mark, what do people need to do? They need to
like, comment, follow, subscribe, tell a friend,
rate.
Tell your mom and them, rate. You feel me? And don't hate, but appreciate.
The tell your friend is my favorite one. Yes, please leave comments. We're going to answer some of the comments this week on the show. Again, new episodes every week. Again, Rob Stone, Mark Ingram, our good friend Matt Leinart subbing in for Coach Meyer. Coach Meyer not here. Our thoughts, this is kind of bumming me out, guys, that we need to do this almost week in and week out. But our thoughts to everybody who's now being impacted by Hurricane Milton, particularly in the Sunshine State. And again, Sinclair partnering with Salvation Army. They have teams operating in North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, Georgia, and of course, the Sunshine State right now to help all those affected. Their highest need, it is still clean water as well as food and cleanup kits. To donate, please, we encourage all of you to go to sinclaircares.com. Okay, we call it Any Given Saturday, and there's a reason. And because I didn't sell it, because on any given Saturday, football madness can happen in college football. And that madness, it put in an extra shift this week. Number 1, Alabama. Number 4, Tennessee. Number 9, Missouri. Number 10, Michigan. And number 11, USC. They all fell. And they fell, well, 4 of them fell to unranked teams as well. How about this little nugget? We're going to start, Mark, with you and Alabama. But first, the saucy nug of the week. And we're adding extra nugs this week because it deserves it. Vanderbilt has never beaten a top 5 opponent until last Saturday. On their 61st try, they finally got their first top 5 win. And for the first time in 40 years, Bama lost to Vanderbilt. That is your saucy nug of the week. And I'm assuming, Mark, you were in a bit of a saucy mood Saturday as everything was going down in Nashville.
It's actually quite comical.
Comical?
Like, you just go and just get smacked by Vandy? Like, bro, my man Diego
you can't
Pavia,
comprehend it.
like, I'm sitting here on the plane, like, watching this. I'm like, is this even real life? Like, what's happening? We go on the road, we just can't do anything. Like, no matter how you slice this cake, it's atrocious. No matter how you slice the cake, it's atrocious. We'll start with the bad news. The bad news is
you lost. I thought we already got to the bad news.
Well, that's atrocious news. So we're just gonna keep going.
So now we're getting to the bad.
So now we're getting to the bad.
Bad. Like as Coach would say,
we're gonna get positive.
This is bad.
The loss is atrocious. Just like we don't lose to Vandy. You said 40 years.
40 years.
The last loss was 1984. The last loss before that was 69. You know who
the Alabama head coach was? Mark, do you know who the Alabama head coach was last time Bama lost to Vandy?
No.
Former Tampa Bay Buccaneer head coach, which may not be much of a hint for you guys.
Dungy? No, 84. No.
Dungy.
My bad. Did he
Edit that out. Ray Perkins.
Ray Perkins.
Rob, me and Mark were born in the 80s, man.
Yes.
Come on.
Don't start.
Yes.
Don't start with me.
But listen, man, like, okay, we're going to start. The loss is just atrocious. Like, it's just unacceptable. Everyone knows that. You have a huge win versus Georgia, then you go on the road to Vandy off a huge momentum and just take a L and fall straight on your face like that. The defense is just completely just unprepared for this. But, you know, it's a triple option. The defense just wasn't like, they weren't sound in their assignments. You got to know who has the dive back, who has the quarterback, who has the pitch man. We had people that were stagnant, sitting there, kind of hesitant, and that's what you want out of option offense. I ran it with the Ravens, and that's what you want. People who are standing still, kind of indecisive. That's where you take advantage of a defense like that. Let's look at the time of possession. Like, we just couldn't get off the field.
Dude, 42 minutes and 8 seconds, Vanderbilt had the ball. Bama only 17:52. And sometimes those can be deceptive, right? Because a lot of times you're like, ooh, quick strike offense, right? It only took X plays and X seconds or minutes. But for Vanderbilt to control Alabama, controlled Alabama with 42 minutes of possession is pure insanity.
Run it down your throat and make you like it. Run it down your throat and make you like it. Come on now. They had 9 possessions. They only punted the ball twice. Bama's defense is in crisis mode right now. They're in crisis mode.
Yes,
the last 6 quarters, 67 points, 784 yards. Opponents are converting third downs at a 54% rate. They've allowed 10, 20-yard plays. You thought that the second half of the Georgia thing might have just been Georgia, but no, that's truly who the defense is right now. And they need to go ahead.
I just want to add. I want to add to that real fast, Mark, because you're spot on. Over the last 6 quarters, so we're talking the second half of the Georgia game. Remember, I mean, talk about the ebbs and flows of a college football season. The absolute chaos of what took place in Tuscaloosa the prior weekend, and then this absolute crash, this valley. But over the last 6 quarters, Mark, to your point, they are allowing essentially 11 points per quarter. Prior to that stretch, they allowed 33 points. First 14 quarters of the season, they were allowing roughly 2 points a quarter. And now here they are allowing 11 over the last 6 quarters. That is a wild
It's crazy.
spike.
It's crazy. And I remember when we watched Wisconsin, I said on Big Noon, I was like, Alabama has to shore up their rush defense.
Mm-hmm.
And it still hasn't kind of gotten solidified yet. So
No.
that is a problem. And this is really bad. This is really bad. And then we got people running butt naked through the defense, Matt.
Dude. When was the last time Vanderbilt beat a ranked team, let alone a number 1 team in the country? I would.
It's Vanderbilt. This is the conversation, and I don't want to be disrespectful.
I'm not disrespectful.
I don't
want to disrespect Vanderbilt at all because they went and they did what they needed to do. They controlled the line of scrimmage.
But Mark, disrespect them because they are Vanderbilt. Yes. You do not lose to Vanderbilt.
You don't lose to Vanderbilt.
I don't care if that's Alabama. I don't care if that's Mississippi State. I don't care who it is. Again, no offense, Vanderbilt, but you are not supposed to lose to Vanderbilt.
You don't lose to Vanderbilt. That's not what happens when you go to Bama. When you wear that script A, you do not lose to Vanderbilt. There's a lot of other things that might happen, but you don't lose to Vanderbilt. But anyways, let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. All right.
Mark, the positive, right? You got a lot of positive.
Yeah, no. See, I went to the bad. Now I'm going to go to the positive.
There's positives.
There is positives. The positives is you had a pick 6. You had a fumble that they scored a touchdown on. That's 14 points. So you don't do those, you win the game, right? You don't do those, you win the game. But our offense is still elite. Jalen Milroe is still the man. You still have Ryan Williams making unheard of plays up the sideline, running up, you know what I mean? We still have to find a way to run the ball more efficiently. But the positives is you have 1 loss, okay? It's 1 loss to Vanderbilt. It's terrible. But it's a 12-team playoff. It doesn't exclude you from the playoff. So you have no room for error. You lost your room for error.
I think you still have room for error.
Yeah, you do.
You have another loss in you, and you're still going to be, I think,
I don't
okay.
love it. I don't love it.
Nor should you.
Because you got Tennessee.
You're 1-1.
You got Tennessee.
You're 1-1 the SEC. Yep.
You got LSU.
LSU.
You got the Barners, which who knows what could happen against those weirdos.
What did you call them? The Barners?
Yeah, the Barners.
Who are the Barners? Is that Auburn?
Is that Auburn?
Yes, they're Barners.
Oh, I've never heard the term Barners.
Well, now you know.
Well, tell me what it means.
It just, I don't know, actually.
I think. Look, Mark. I think this game. So this is like, to me, it's like a total outlier game. I think. Well, my junior year, that USC team, arguably is considered one of the better teams of all time. Right? I mean, the 04 team we won. We threw up an absolute clunker on the road at Stanford. Now, the difference is we ended up winning, but that team was trash. We won. We were down 21-3 at halftime with 10,000 people in the stadium. And even I remember Pete in the pregame was like, I don't got a good feeling about this game. It was one of those games, okay? We ended up winning. I think to your point, like, their defense is not very good. We've kind of seen that all season long. But you're going to have to score 40 points to beat them.
Yes.
And we know what Kalen DeBoer can do at offense. And you know me, I'm a big fan of Jalen Milroe, Ryan Williams. And I think, too, you look at their schedule. Like, they have the confidence knowing that they can beat anybody in the country with the way they beat Georgia. And I know they almost fell apart at the end, but they still found a way to win. So you have room for error. You can lose another game and still potentially get in. And by the way, Vanderbilt, again, I know it's Vanderbilt, and they're 3-2. I'll take a Lincoln Riley quote. They're a couple plays away from maybe being 5-0.
Right.
And again, they're not, but that team isn't as bad
as everyone thinks
historically as we've seen.
Beat Virginia Tech in their opener, lost in overtime to Mizzou. You're right. This is a better team.
I think they lost to Georgia.
They did it with transfers,
Southern, maybe. Yeah.
Georgia Southern. I love when you can. Hey Matt, I love when you can do the like. Georgia Southern beat Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt beat Alabama.
Yeah.
Georgia Southern.
You're trying to piece the puzzle together.
5.
No matter how you slice this cake, the loss is atrocious. The loss is atrocious.
It's a bad loss, man, but you move on.
Yes,
but
you move on.
No, hold on. I'm not moving. I'm not letting Mark move on.
I'm not moving on yet. I'm not moving on yet. The thing is, as a player, you flush this and you move on. So, yes, you saw how Malachi Moore was pissed off at the end of the game. Like, he should have been.
What was your reaction to that? Mark?
I was pissed too. And like,
but the way Moore handled it.
I don't love how he handled it. He doesn't love how he handled it. Obviously, he regrets it. He apologized about it. He has held himself accountable for it. He was a leader in the locker room afterwards, and he's been a leader in the locker room since. Is that a moment he wishes he has back? Yes. He issued a statement over social media and apologized for it and was accountable for it. Said it was unacceptable. He's a 2-time captain at the University of Alabama. His handprints, his footprints are set in stone at the Walk of Champions. So is he happy about that? No. But at the same time, when you put your blood, sweat, and tears and you care about something, he came back to Alabama for a 5th year to achieve greatness. And so did he have a little meltdown? Yes. But at the same time, I am not mad that he showed that type of emotion because that is what you need from your team. And for him to be able to...
refusing to be subbed off, you're all right with that?
Refusing to be subbed off
on the guy, but man, it's he's waving off substitutions. He's slamming players.
When you out there losing to Vanderbilt, bro,
I don't really mind it, man. To be honest, like you're maybe an All-American, you're a captain. Like this is an emotional game, and like Mark said, you come back to potentially win a natty, and again, everything is still in front of them.
Yep.
And as long as you address and you hold yourself accountable in that locker room, that's all that matters. Nothing else outside what we say or anyone says.
That's
it doesn't
all that
matter.
Matters. Is the people in that locker room.
All that matters is what's in that locker room. Yeah. And I guarantee, and Mark knows this better than us, that guy's got the respect of everybody on that team. So that is, but that it's Vanderbilt.
Yes.
Like again, it's like, are you kidding me?
Come on. And that's
from a player's perspective. Yeah, I get it.
And that's the emotions he had, literally what we're saying. Like, are you kidding me? And like,
Mark, I want to ask you a question, man, because we're all flying. We're probably all on the plane at that time. I'm watching this game live, and the only person in the world that I was thinking about was my dog, Deuce Deuce. And I was like, this guy has got to be just, I don't even know, man. I felt for you in that moment.
I was sick,
and then
bro.
I was kind of like, oh, man, Nashville's going to be turned up tonight. That's going to be a fun place to be. the quarterback is just going to rage.
Nashville
Like,
was
God.
lit. Diego Pavia just had the game of his life. The game of
the
his
way,
life.
get
16 for 20. 252,
By the way,
2 TDs.
By the way, tweet out NIL deals. Like, dude, just take it, man.
He just threw out his agent's phone number on X.
By the way,
He
it said,
just, like not even with the hash marks, just like a slur of numbers.
I love this brand. I love this brand. I love this brand. Hey, you know where to find me.
Right.
I love it.
I'll be right here in Nashville.
Two-star quarterback out of New Mexico, went to
Good for
military academy, a JC, then went to New Mexico State, and then transfers to Vandy. Yeah, the Cat's got some swagger. Taking down the goalposts, right?
And bringing it through Broadway
downtown,
to the river.
and then dump it in the Cumberland River, and then the Nashville Fire Department had to go back in and fish out the goalpost. I mean, it's not like everybody's got a whole set of backup goalposts. They need those, man.
This is what happens. This is what happens when you go and you lose and you're Alabama. They tear down the goalpost, they take it to the river. So good job, Alabama, for allowing Vanderbilt to have the time of their life in a moment they'll never forget. But at the same time, listen, Rob, this is the last thing I'm gonna say. We've been beating up on my squad. Flush it, move on to the next week. You have South Carolina coming into town. We saw Jalen Monroe get a sack fumble in the second half. You have arguably two of the best edge rushers in the country coming to town. Have to get back on track. Have everything ahead of you.
And that's what
you have everything ahead of you.
That's what Kalen DeBoer.
Yep.
Kalen DeBoer. There's only one option, and that's to move forward.
It's embarrassing.
But Mark,
it's embarrassing, but we still have everything that we hope for ahead of us. So lock in, focus, and let's get on. As a player, you can't wait soon enough to get to the next game, to flush that and play the next game and get that behind you. So roll damn tide. And that's always and forever. Roll damn tide.
I say roll Commodores. Let's go.
Okay, you can say that. And you have earned the right to say that. You have earned the right to say that.
Listen.
Are you a Vandy fan? Have you ever rooted for Vanderbilt ever before?
No, he's never
I've got
rooted for
a friend
Vanderbilt.
who's been there.
I'm on Good Morning Football this morning, and they're talking about Go Vandy.
They're jumping on. They're jumping on the bandwagon. Mark, seriously, when you played at Alabama, when you played at Alabama, did you ever go into a Vanderbilt game thinking that there's a shot in hell that you're going to lose?
I never played Vanderbilt when I was there, but
how did that happen?
Because I was only there 3 years. And you know how
you didn't play them any 3 years?
East West, the East West scheduling. I didn't have them. I had Georgia my freshman year. I had South Carolina. I had South Carolina my second year. Then my third year we had South Carolina again and Florida. I don't know who we have.
We'll take your. We'll let you lick your wounds and move on from an embarrassing loss. I mean, this is up there with like the 1-2-3 kid beating Razor Ramon, Saudi Arabia beating Argentina in the World Cup. This is like March Madness. FDU over 1 seed Purdue. I mean,
but guess what? USA beating Russia.
Guess what? It happens on any given Saturday.
We still here. But hey, this tells you, Stoner, if your butt doesn't come to play, you can get your butt beat. And it almost happened to Miami too, but they found a way to win. You know what I mean?
Light it.
You've had Wendy's Nugs dipped in sauce, right, Mark? You've had the Wendy Nugs?
I've had them, and I love them.
But, Mark, I ask you, have you had them covered in sauce? Wendy's new saucy nugs take the crispy and spicy nugs that I know you love, and you know what they turn them up to? They turn them up to 11, Mark.
Ooh, more than 10. Choose between flavors like buffalo, honey barbecue, garlic parm, or if you're a real heat seeker, try spicy ghost pepper. Only on Wendy's signature spicy nugs. I dare you. There's 7 delicious ways to try the nugs you already love.
Are you man enough to try the spicy ghost pepper, by the way? Do you think you could pull that off?
That's not for me. I'm the honey barbecue type guy.
Yeah, I can do the peppers. Pick a flavor, grab some extra napkins, and then go back and get a few more napkins and prepare to nug. Apparently the word nug is a verb now. So Mark, prepare to nug like you've never nugged before for a whole new way to nug. It's got to be Wendy's at participating U.S. Wendy's. Keep on nugging, America.
Nug City.
According to research, a major challenge that many employers face is the pressure to hire quickly. And it is a tough hurdle to overcome because it's so time-consuming to search for great candidates and sort out through all those applications. Well, if you're an employer who can relate to that, I got one question for you. Have you tried ZipRecruiter? ZipRecruiter has figured out how to solve this very problem. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate think about this, within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/option. Don't forget that /option. How fast does ZipRecruiter's smart technology start showing with your job to qualified candidates? How about immediately? You can invite top candidates for your job to apply, to encourage them to apply sooner. It's all about picking up the pace here. So relax, employers, and let ZipRecruiter speed up your hiring. You can see for yourself. Again, just go to ZipRecruiter.com/option right now, and you get to try it for free. That's the same price as a genuine smile from a stranger, a picture-perfect sunset, or a cute little dog running up to you and licking your hand. Again, that is ZipRecruiter.com/option. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. You know who also did not find a way to win? USC falling at Minnesota 24-17. Gophers outscored the Trojans 14-love, Maddie, in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
Miller Moss, 2 picks in the fourth quarter, certainly didn't help matters. PJ Fleck rowing the boat, fans storming the field, and USC goes down. And remember, USC, what were they? As high as number 11 at one point. And now, Matt, they've lost 2 of their first 3 ever games in the Big Ten Conference.
By the way, they're not even in the top 25 anymore. That's how far they dropped. Listen, where do I start? I have a lot of feelings on this. And unlike Alabama, there is no more room for error. They already have 2 losses. They get Penn State. They still have Washington, who looks really good. They still have Notre Dame. They still have Nebraska.
They still have a path, Matthew. They still have a path to the playoffs.
Yeah, well, that path is real
Well, it's
small.
rugged and it's bumpy and there's some blind turns, but it's a path.
Like I was thinking about this. I was thinking about this week, and I'm trying to evaluate this program. And Lincoln Riley's taken a lot of heat and a lot of frustration from the fan base, and justifiably so, honestly. And you go back to the first year, and we were at that game, Rob, and they lost to Utah in the Pac-12 championship. Caleb Williams had a hurt hamstring. Again, I would give anything. I would give any amount of money, bet any amount of money that if he's not hurt, they win that game, and they're in the college football playoff. But that set the bar real high, and it was unrealistic. The next year, last year, they were just awful. Defensively, they were awful. Offensively, they were awful. They had a couple good players. Caleb obviously is a star, and now this year, USC beats LSU at Allegiant Stadium. And that set the expectation once again. Oh my gosh. And I was on it. We were all on it.
Yep.
I saw them play. I was there. I was like, LSU, by the way, is a good team right now.
Yes.
And might make the playoffs.
That's a big time win. Yep. And so we're thinking, okay, the defense is better. The offensive line held their own against an SEC D line. All of these things. Miller Moss looked good. Now all of a sudden, you kind of getting into conference play, and you got to travel a little bit, and you go back to the Michigan game, and again, they had an opportunity to win that game, and defense played better, but they still didn't make the plays that they needed to. And then you go back to this last week, and I watched the film this week. Defense has given up 200 yards on the ground a game. 200 yards. Okay? And I know they're better in a lot of areas. They are. They're also giving up more yards per play this year at this point than they did a year ago. Think about that. And last year was historically, but talk about atrocious, Mark. Their defense was atrocious last year. So you're starting to break this down and thinking, man, how much better are we actually this year? And then offensively, and a lot of people are pointing Miller. I think Miller Moss is playing really good football, to be honest with you. He had a bad pick. The other pick, he got hit as he was throwing. And it's the offensive line. And we all said, okay, you go to the Big Ten. You have to be physical, all right? A lot of these teams, even a team like Minnesota, and PJ Fleck's done a really good job there. Like, they've won 8-9 games.
Yes.
They're physical. They like to run the football. But that is a team you should beat. And that defensive line was getting to Miller Moss with 3-man rushes all game. Both tackles were getting killed. And I'm just sitting here thinking, how are we in year 3 and we still don't have the offensive line and the bodies up front to compete? I don't care if you're in the Pac-12 or the Big Ten. And that is a concern I have the rest of the season. Yeah. That is the concern that I have moving forward. I think the defense will be fine, to be honest with you. Eric Gentry didn't play in that game. He is arguably the best player in that defense, does a lot for them. But I'm just telling you, like, it's
Matt, I agree
the
with you.
expectation after LSU was. I mean, Brady and I talked about I literally said the biggest threat to Ohio State
was USC.
Yeah,
that's what we all literally truly believed.
And now they look like a 4 or 5 loss team. So
wait a second, you thought the biggest threat to Ohio State in the Big Ten was USC?
We talked about it on Big Noon.
This after week one.
I must have been taking a nap during that because how is it not Oregon?
Well,
because Oregon, when we had
even
this,
back then,
when we had this segment, Oregon looked very suspect after their first 2 games.
But they were still getting wins.
Yeah, against.
Yep.
Yeah,
very,
I mean, they
very
were beating
bad
Idaho.
Yeah, they beat Boise State.
Yeah,
trust
with all
me,
due respect,
listen.
after they beat LSU and they go on, you think that they possibly could pose a threat to.
The bottom line is where Alabama is in their program is a lot different than where USC is. USC is trying to get back to relevance. They're trying to get back to being a playoff team. Lincoln Riley got paid a lot of money to get this team back. And right now, and I tweeted this out, I just feel like USC's stuck in neutral. Like it just like, at what point do you take the next step? Because
how do you get
a
out
lot
of neutral?
How do you get? There's a lot of the same excuses.
No, I'm asking you, how do you get out of neutral? What does USC need?
I mean, I think for me, the mind-boggling part is how we haven't been able to recruit better up front and get the guys.
That's crazy to me.
And I still think, and I believe this wholeheartedly, USC is still USC.
USC sends a letter and you're in high school, your eyes are lit up. I don't care
the
what
brand. I know the brand is still the brand. It is still LA. It is they got NIL. It's decent. It's not Oregon. It's not Ohio State, but it's decent enough. And there's still an allure there. And the fact that we can't put on the field. It goes back to recruiting. And again, I don't know, I just worry. Like, that's just a game. You can't lose that game.
Yeah.
You can't lose that game for a lot of reasons.
Right.
And that's not even disrespect to Minnesota and PJ Fleck, because, again, we've seen them play well in the Big Ten for years. But for the expectation that's at USC and for Lincoln Riley and what the expectation is for him, like, it's just unacceptable in my opinion. And you look at the schedule. I said this in the beginning of the year, telling people, "Oh, how's USC going to be?" I'm like, I think it's a 4 or 5 loss team. After LSU, I was like, "Well, shoot, we look a lot different." And now I'm right back to it's just
you was nervous versus Michigan. You was nervous last
week.
But
I also called that game. I said,
you did.
Like, this doesn't. But Minnesota, no.
Not Minnesota.
No, you didn't call Minnesota.
You didn't call Minnesota. You called Michigan. No.
I don't know, guys.
But at the end of the day, man, I agree with you. Like, you said they're allowing 200 yards per game on the rushing on defense. Then you talk about not being able to protect your quarterback on the offensive line. A team, if I'm building a team, I'm starting in the trenches. Because USC has all the skill positions. They have the receivers. They have the quarterback. But
they should always have the skill positions,
yes,
right?
They have those.
That.
They have those. But for them not to have the trenches in the offensive line, the D-line, they've always had that. That's what they've been known for. Tough defense, running the football. Like, that's what Matt had when he was there. They had an O-line.
Maybe you know what, Mark? Maybe Matt needs to be helping out their NIL a little bit more.
Matt, you need to do something. I don't think
paycheck out there.
You got to step
maybe
up,
you need
Matt.
to quit feeding all those kids you keep making with Josie over there.
Hey, there's a lot more people with deeper pockets than me at USC. So
that's what
the bottom line is, it was last year we saw them, the Notre Dame game, and I'm like, our offensive line and look, we look like a junior college team to their defensive line, and it just showed up on film, and it showed up in that game. And this year we're better. I think we're bigger. I saw it in person at LSU, but at the end of the day, we're not producing and they're not executing, and that's a problem. And it's a problem in the Big Ten.
This weekend, USC hosts one of the elite teams in the Big Ten, Penn State. That's going to be one of our picks coming up later. Mark, I got that, and you know who I'm picking. I'm not telling you, but Matt's going to be.
By the way,
I'm going to catch Matt off guard.
This is, by the way, a game that USC could probably win. That's just how this
way to
goes.
Give away my take. All right, hold on. I just want to wrap up the upsets real quick and then get to this.
Yeah, let's talk about some of these other teams who lost too.
Yeah, man.
Right. Hey, let's move on.
Beating on our squads.
Right.
Let's beat on some of these other squads.
How about Tennessee going on the road and losing to Arkansas? Right. Tennessee got to Arkansas 25 with 17 seconds left. Couldn't score before time expired. Fans stormed the field. And this is after the Alabama chaos. So Tennessee knew, like, don't be sleeping on anybody, right? You don't just roll into Fayetteville and think you're going to take care of the Hogs. And then also in the SEC, I don't consider this as big of an upset, but it still was an upset. Missouri. Oh, Matt, you remember watching Mark watch the Missouri highlights in the Big Noon green room?
I'm never picking Missouri ever again in my entire life. I don't care if you guys are the favorite or not. Missouri, you guys suck.
512 yards Texas A&M put on Missouri. A 41-10 beatdown. One more upset. This one, I saw this one coming. I picked it. I'd like to pat myself on the back once in a while. Washington 10 better than Michigan. Michigan passing game is a mess. They started with Alex Orji, 3 of 7, 15 yards. He carried the ball. They were down 14-0. And so what do? They now go to their third quarterback, sixth-year QB Jack Tuttle. Came on, gave him a spark, but in the end, it wasn't enough. In the end, fans stormed the field again in Washington, which doesn't make sense to me.
Storming the field is crazy. Like,
by the way,
let's talk about that in a second. Go ahead, Maddie.
I just want to say something really quick about Washington.
Yeah.
Jed Fish turned around Arizona in 2 years. And Washington, again, this is a good program. Kalen DeBoer took them to the national championship last year. But anytime there's turnover and change, there always feels like there's a little bit of a rebuild. They're 4-2. They got Will Rogers, who's a prolific college football quarterback. We know that. He's playing out of his mind. You start to look at the defense's top 5 in the Big Ten. This is a good football team. Like, and you called it, Rob. You did. You said, like, going over to Seattle, Washington is an incredible place to play. It's a great home environment. And Michigan, even though with their concerns, to me, this kind of says a lot more about Washington and where they're going. And this is a team this year. I'm telling you what, this won't be their first upset. They will knock off somebody else. Obviously, I think they're ranked. They're going to be ranked, and I think they're going to win a lot of games. But I just wanted to give Washington a little love. Like that was a big win for that program and Jed Fish.
You say they're going to knock somebody else off, especially when you got to go travel to Washington. That's definitely
USC at Washington.
US.
A little later this season, but that's not an upset anymore. That's just a good.
I just think keep an eye on Washington making a run here.
That's a good call. All right, we'll keep an eye on Washington. So we had all of these upsets, and again, the big focus was kind of the shockers in the SEC. Obviously, the Alabama loss highlighting things. Tennessee going.
I'm not letting Missouri off the hook, Stoner. I sat here.
I think Missouri was totally overvalued going in.
I sat here and told America how I think they was gonna win. I have friends texting me talking about, I just put the money line on Missouri. I said, I did not tell you to do that.
Yes.
I did not tell you to do that. But what do I know? That's what I'm going to start saying.
Listen, dude,
I'm going to pick these games. I'm going to say, but what do I know?
They're ranked. They were a top 10 team. It's easy to pick them.
Yeah, and they're not only that, Matt, they're a top 10 team in the SEC. And, we know how people value the SEC. We can get Joel Klatt on this one at any moment. But first, let's hear from Georgia head coach Kirby Smart on his thoughts about these upsets and what life in the SEC really is.
Kirby.
Vandy's got a great program and does a great job. I mean, it's a lot of other people that don't respect Vandy. I respect Clark Lee. I respect his team, his quarterback, what they've done. They beat Virginia Tech. I mean, somebody told me that 6 of 8 games were decided by 1 score or less in our league. Nothing shocks me about our league. So Texas A&M, Missouri, welcome to the SEC. It's hard every week, and I got a feeling that it's not going to stop. It's a consistency in performance. And when you ride the wave of emotion, you get caught on the bottom of the wave at sometimes. And we're just trying to do this. We're just trying to keep getting better and keep getting better.
So there's this strong narrative out there. Mark's laughing already. This narrative that everything is tougher and everything is better in the SEC. I am not an SEC hater. I appreciate SEC football. I understand it, and I respect the hell out of it. But guess what? Same goes for the Big Ten, right? And if an Ohio State lost to a Purdue or a UCLA this year, people are going to go, the Big Ten is awful, right? The supposed king of the Big Ten, Ohio State, falls to one of the worst teams ever. That is a state of the Big Ten. It is just not up to par. It is not as good as the SEC. But whoa, hold on. If Alabama loses to Vanderbilt, if Tennessee loses to Arkansas. If Missouri loses A&M, hey man, it's just because this conference is so good, top to bottom. We should expect that, every Saturday. Don't give me that BS.
Who
right?
said
It's
that?
still Vanderbilt.
Who said that?
Right?
Who said that?
I'm
though?
saying that. I'm
Well,
saying that right now.
let me chime in before.
I
Mark,
already
'cause
told
most
you,
are
no
SC
matter
guys.
how you slice the damn cake, Alabama losing to Vanderbilt is unacceptable. Ohio State losing to anybody
This is not
is
an
unacceptable.
Alabama thing. This is an SEC thing.
I-
Everybody
But
in the
everyone wants to
SEC
use Alabama as
apologizes
the
for the
example.
losses and say they should be expected. But if it happens anywhere else, like if Miami lost that game at Cal for, Saturday night, everybody would have written off the whole ACC. Take Clemson down with you.
The ACC
Florida State's
is written
doing its
off.
job as well.
ACC written
I
itself
know,
off.
but that's my point. But that one loss would have written
I gotta
off
stop
the
talking about these
entirety
schools
of
because
the
I have kids that
ACC.
can get recruited. I love
From the
all the
get-go.
schools.
I do too, and I just feel like there is this very strong narrative, and I know people in the Big Ten country hear it, and right now they're nodding their head. They're like, "Preach, Rob Stone."
The SEC
Keep on
won
talking.
19 straight national
Well, and
championships.
And that's the reason why is because Bama and Georgia in particular, and you could throw LSU in there,
The
obviously.
big heavyweights up top.
And not
right.
even going back to Florida and coaches' days, just going back to the last 10, 15 years. It has been dominated by the SEC. Kirby Smart is fantastic. And this, no disrespect to him, and he's going to say what he should say to prop up his league. But, and this isn't even disrespect to Vanderbilt, but like that, you don't like Vanderbilt. That is not supposed to be a difficult opponent, and it just hasn't been in years. So when he's saying that again, he's trying to give love to his. Two things to this. It's again why. Like we've always talked about this, like the preseason ranking and the preseason poll and all of these things mean absolutely nothing. It doesn't even matter with the SEC, but for whatever reason, they always get those 6, 7, 8 teams in the top 25, and they just hover in there because everybody kind of beats up everybody.
And they
exactly
only get dinged a little bit by the losses, Matt, where other people will have a dramatic fall.
I mean, my
Well,
goodness,
if you're
USC
13, you lose to 8. Like
USC was 11, lost to Minnesota, who's whatever, who isn't a great team. They dropped 18 spots.
Gone.
They're not. I mean, they're in the top 30, maybe. I will say this though. This whole conversation about all these teams, like the parity in college football this year is better than we've
Yes.
seen. And again, I think Ohio State and Texas are kind of sitting there like, hey, look at us. We're the two teams that have been dominant. But telling you what, man, like this is exciting for all of us because 12 teams, and right now, last week proves that anybody can beat anybody.
Yes.
And I think that's
That's
what's exciting.
Given
Well, you see this
Saturday
NIL, it's
chaos.
bringing parity across college football. So
And Mark, that is such a cool point that both you guys hit because everybody thought it would create the haves and the have-nots, right? That there would be this upper echelon of college football because of NIL, because of the transfer portal, and everybody's going to move into this one direction. But what we're seeing so far this season is maybe it's spreading the
Yes.
wealth. Maybe it's keeping players longer at your program. Let them actually, mature. and
well,
work
because
their
these
way up-
players
up
now
through the program.
that third person on the depth chart is not staying to wait for his chance for his fifth to be a senior. He's leaving. He's going to play. So you're getting good players across the country now. And like the whole thing with SEC, like it's okay. It's okay, everybody. It's okay. Just relax. Just means
chill,
more. It just means more. I'll just
Just means more. Just means more. All right, real quick. I'm going to do this rapid fire. And we're gonna finish this segment. I'm gonna list the teams that quote unquote got upset and lost. Mark, I start with you, and then Matt for each one of these. Tell me if they go to the playoffs or not. Alabama off the loss. Do they go to the playoffs?
Maybe.
Me?
Mark,
Oh,
We got some work
Matt?
to do. We got some work to do, man.
I would still lean towards yes.
yes, agreed.
Yep.
Tennessee off the loss at Arkansas. Mark, do they go to the playoffs?
Who do they have on their schedule left? Bama and who else?
But they have
Bama
Bama
at
and
Georgia.
Georgia left,
Oh, they might not make it.
and they already have a loss. I'm gonna say no.
This
I'll
is
answer for
rapid
Mark.
fire, Mark. It's supposed to be quick.
I don't know. I can't
responses.
crucify somebody
Okay,
off
so
this
back
week.
to back, I don't know. Is Matt Leinart?
He said yeah.
Yeah,
he
I said no. I'm
he said
looking
no.
at their
All right.
schedule. They still play Bama. They still play Georgia. To me, that's
Yep.
2 losses.
All right. This is in honor of Coach Urban Meyer. Missouri,
No.
red line.
No.
Pull it. Done.
No.
Michigan,
No.
pull it. Red line.
No.
Yeah.
USC, I'm giving your Trojans hope.
Stop,
giving
Rob.
them hope. I don't know why.
They have 2 losses
You know why?
right now, right?
Because Matt Leinart doesn't give USC enough hope. And I feel like as his friend and his neighbor, I need to somehow lift up the Trojans.
They still play Ohio
I
State,
give them
don't they?
hope.
No,
they have
no,
Penn
they
State,
got-
they have Washington, they have Notre Dame.
They can't, but the problem is they can't lose another game.
Yeah, they're not making it. 'Cause They're
Correct.
going to lose one more.
But if
And-
they went out and they're 10-2,
They're
They'll
gonna
go
go
in.
in.
They'll go
they
in.
won't.
They'll go
They're
in.
going
They
to go
won't
in,
be in
man.
the. They won't be in the Big Ten.
It's
championship
rapid
game,
fire,
most
I
likely.
thought. It's rapid fire.
It is rapid fire, Mark. Thanks for reminding us. Once again, the theme here
Bama makes
on
it.
any
Tennessee doesn't.
given Saturday, things happen in college football. Coming up next, we're joined by Ohio State quarterback Will Howard.
Light it.
Well, as you all know by now, we have teamed up with our great friends at BetMGM this season, and we're going to be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks. We'll also have special offers for our listeners each week. Mark, you're listening, right? You're listening to this?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Pay attention. Pay attention. All right. So if you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, we urge you to use the bonus code OPTION or go to betmgm.com/option and you will get up to $1,500 first bet offer, Mark, on your first wager with BetMGM. We're talking $1,500, Mark.
1,500. But here's how it works. Download the BetMGM app and sign up using bonus code OPTION. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game. You'll receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your bet loses. Just make sure you use bonus code OPTION when you sign up or go to betmgm.com/option.
It's all about the option, Mark.
It's all about the option, especially the triple option.
See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. U.S. promotional offers not available in New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467369 New York. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-327-5050 in Massachusetts. 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa. 1-800-981-0023 in Puerto Rico. First bet offer for new customers only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Welcome back to The Triple Option. We are joined by the quarterback at The Ohio State University, Will Howard. Thanks for joining us. You are in the quarterback room right now, right? Because all I'm seeing is a bunch of legends behind you.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
Has it set in with you yet what it means to be the quarterback at The Ohio State University?
Yeah, man, it's pretty crazy. Like the lineage of greatness that's come through here. It's cool, man. It's cool to be a part of something like that, and just being, playing on the stage that that we get to play on every week, and being in the shoe. Like, it's pretty crazy. Coming from I think where I came from was a great place, but maybe not as storied and tradition based as it is here. And it's been awesome, man. It's been a really cool experience since I've been here.
Hey, real quick, before I turn it over to our quarterback, of all those legends behind you, who was your favorite Ohio State quarterback to watch when you were kind of growing up and matriculating through the sport?
That's a good question. I would say the one that I watched probably the most was JT. That was right within like my middle school, high school years. So I was like, that was okay. I was like, man, like this dude's a baller. Like, obviously I watched Cardale. I watched, I think that's about as far back as I went. I was a little too young. I watched Braxton too, but I was a Penn State fan growing up. So I remember rooting against the Buckeyes. Now I finally came to the bright side, got away from that other stuff, but
I think Will was in diapers when I was playing. That's for sure.
I think so.
We watch you guys every week, and we see this offense, and you see the star receivers and the running backs and the offensive line. And I was thinking about when I was at USC, and I know you're young, but we had we had a Ferrari, right? And I was the driver, and I had the keys, and it was just make plays when you had to and step up, but just don't crash the car. And you are a much better player than that, because you do a lot for this offense, and we've seen you run the ball a little bit more too, which I think is an underrated part of your game. But just overall, Will, the perspective that you have and the mentality that you have going into every game, knowing the type of players that you have around you.
Yeah, it takes a lot of pressure off you, as as a quarterback, obviously, I have to go out there and make my plays and put the ball where it needs to be. But, when you have guys that can kind of, you have mistake erasers on the outside. Yep. I mean, Jeremiah is he's gonna wipe away some mistakes. that ball I threw to him at Michigan State wasn't a great throw, but hey, he made it right. So like things like that, man. Like guys, and I'd like to think that I can do that for other guys at times, but it goes both ways, man. And I like my role on this team. I feel like is a facilitator. Just getting the ball in the right people's hands and making decisions. I think I've done a pretty good job of that so far. I probably like 1 or 2 plays I want back a game, and that's just growing and learning every single week. And, but I feel pretty good about where we're at as an offense. I think we've just continued to get better every single week. And I mean, with the amount of weapons that we have and the way our offensive line is playing right now, like, it's going to be hard to stop us for sure.
You talk about mistake erasers on the outside. Like we all been watching this young alien you got to throw the ball to, Jeremiah Smith, dude. Bro. Like, dude is ridiculous. Like, what is it like throwing to him? What is his ceiling, man? Tell us about this cat, man.
Oh, he's there. There's the sky is the limit for that kid, man. I mean, the fact that he's already as good as he is as an 18-year-old true freshman, man, it's special. I've never seen someone come in with that amount of talent and also the work ethic that he has. He's humble. He takes coaching really well. He doesn't complain about getting the ball at all. You never really hear a peep from him. And then he goes out there and makes plays that are just like, I mean, ridiculous. Otherworldly,
Ridiculous.
Like not from this earth, dude. Like this guy's like no one I've ever seen, but I'm sure glad he's on my team.
Yeah. Hey, just something like this, just a little fun thing, man. Most people probably didn't see it, but I saw you like you have some little feisty, some little dog in you. I see you throw that TD and you looking at the sideline like, what?
Yeah.
You doubted me? What?
I was fired up on that, but that was after the 4th down conversion we had. We ran a little RPO, and I was just looking at the sideline. I was looking at our signalers. I was like, "What are they going to do now? What are they going to do now?" That was what I was saying. I was like, "You bring the safety in the box, or throw it behind your head."
So that was fire. I like that. Man. I seen you like what? I'm like, who he talking to like that? Somebody that got somebody amped my dude up. Like,
don't forget about me, man. Don't forget about me.
Yeah.
No doubt. Got fired.
You remember
up.
the old days, Will, when you would be playing just like pickup football, right? And you would be like, all right, I want you to go here and then cut there. And then are there times during the game where you look at the studs that you got out wide and it's more than just Jeremiah and you just like, just go deep or like, just go get open because I'm gonna throw it your way.
Damn near. That does happen sometimes. I mean, it's like, hey, Jeremiah, he's gonna be down there somewhere, just put it up for him. And I feel like a lot of times, and I don't even think we've really done this a lot yet, but getting into a scramble drill with those guys, like, I mean, then at that point, like you're just playing ball, like backyard football, throw the ball up. There was some times in camp where, Mech's making some plays and JJ's making play, Carnell, like everyone, just kind of freestyling a little bit. And I think, that's a good part of my game. I think I can get out of the pocket and extend plays a little bit. And I don't even think we've really had to do that right. much yet. I mean, I've been pretty clean in the pocket. And the O-lines, I can't say enough. Like they're playing at a really high level. I think they've just gotten better every single week.
Mark, I've been in huddles, Rob, and when I was playing with Larry Fitzgerald, I can't tell you how many times, Matt, let me just throw and go. Just throw it up, man. Let me go make a play. I was like, hell yeah, dude, because those chances are better. Well, Chip Kelly, he's been around a long time. He's considered one of the best offensive minds, and I think in all of football. He did it at the NFL. He's done it at a high level in college. And you come over from Kansas State, it's a new system, new voices, new coaching. How has he helped you develop as a player?
He's helped a ton. Him and Coach Day both. The level of coaching that I'm getting here, and since I've been here in the spring, like, is just something I've never really gotten before. I mean, when your head coach and your offensive coordinator are Ryan Day and Chip Kelly, and they're both quarterback guys, and you're getting coached from 2 different angles, and then you got Billy Fessler who came in. He's a really good analyst for us. Riley Larkin's also helping. Like, I'm getting coached from so many different angles, and Coach Kelly obviously is brilliant. I think what separates him is the run game stuff. Like he's a mastermind when it comes to designing run games, getting defenses into different looks, presenting different different types of fits for them and kind of getting them to misfit some things. I think he's brilliant when it comes to that. I think Coach Day does a lot with the pass game too. Like, they're really involved, and I've just gotten developed so much better here. Like, not better, but like just so much different, and more hands-on, and it's just, it's the type of coaching that I needed. It's they've been hard on me. They know that I'm an experienced guy. I played a lot of ball. But I feel like I'm starting to finally really settle into this system and understand like why we're doing what we're doing, how to kind of manipulate that seventh defender. If we're getting a 6-man box, that seventh defender comes in, then I'm spitting it outside, or I'm checking the play, or whatever it may be. We have answers for pretty much everything. And I think Coach Kelly does a really good job of coaching me up on that and how to kind of just run this machine that is this offense.
Yeah. You talked about some of the great coaching that you guys are receiving, you individually, but you guys go on the road to Oregon this week, a huge matchup with huge implications for not only the Big Ten, but also playoffs as well. What has Coach Day's message been to you and the team this week?
Yeah, man. We haven't had our Tuesday team meeting yet. We just kind of wrapped up Iowa.
Oh, it is
on
only
Sunday.
Tuesday.
Talked a little. Yeah, no, it's early in the week, but we talked about, this is a big one. And it's pretty it's pretty well known that this was going to be a big game for a while, and we all know it. We all know it. There's really not much that needs to be said. But at the end of the day, it's a matchup game, and we talk about matchup games all the time, and you got to win the situations in matchup games.
Mm-hmm.
It's crucially important. The rushing yards, the turnover battle, field position battle. You got to win all those things. Third down, and those situations become crucial in these games, and we're focusing on those. Obviously, first and second down is important. You want to put yourself in good situations, but winning the third down battle, taking care of the football, all those things, especially on the road, being able to run the ball is going to be big.
Hey, Matt, this man is a football player, man. He's pretty sharp, ain't he, huh? Man, know what he's talking about.
I was telling before, I've been a fan of yours, Will's, for a long time, and I said the minute you chose Ohio State, I was like, watch out now. You that and Chip and your experience and your game has been ball, and you're running the ball, man. You don't want to give too much away, but are we going to incorporate that a little more? Like you said, you haven't really had to do it.
Yeah.
But something tells me this game, and then you get into Big Ten. I just think that's such an underrated part of your game.
I agree. I haven't really been able to show it yet. I haven't really needed to, and I think we wanted to save a little bit of it for conference play, and we knew it was coming up, and we know this is a big one, so we're not going to be holding anything back. We got everything that we've worked on in the quarterback run space. I mean, everything's on the docket, so we're gonna see.
I love it.
We're gonna see what works this week, and what the Ducks present to us, and good looks that they give us, but. Yeah, man, I'm gonna need to be out there using my legs, and in games like this, it's crucial. And I think when you can attack them like that, and you can get guys to come down on the edge and you pull the ball off the backside. And I had a couple of runs last game that weren't designed runs. It was just me kind of controlling backside guys, and that opens some things up and makes them have to kind of defend you a little differently.
Will, the narrative in the nation for the last couple of months around Ohio State has been this national title or bust type mentality. Is that really what's happening in that locker room? Is that the conversation that's going on in the football locker room of the Ohio State?
I don't think that conversation happens a lot, but I think we all just know, and I think being at a place like Ohio State, I know that we say, it's natty or bust this year, but I feel like it's really like that every year, man.
Yep.
Like it's one of those places where, you got to win them all, and expectations. It's a standard, man, and the expectations are so high. And I knew that coming in. I knew that was going to be the outlook on this season for us, and I knew that that's why Lathan Ransom came back. I knew that's why Jack Sawyer came back, Emeka, JT, Trey, all those guys came back for this reason, and we all kind of bonded together on that. Like, hey, we're here. We're not here to, lose any football games. We're here to win them all. And, we know that, last year it was 11-1 and it's a failed season. It's like the expectations here are a little bigger. And, it's not something we really talk about. We're taking it a week to week process, but in the back of our minds, we've drilled it in our heads. Like, our goals, are big, and we want to beat the team up north. We want win a Big Ten championship. We want to win a natty, and that's it. And that's anything else, doesn't really matter. That's what we got in the back of our heads.
You heard the man. You heard the man.
T, how much preparation have you done for that team up north?
Oh, I mean that game's always in the back of our heads for sure. But no,
y'all got a countdown in the locker room.
Oh, there's a countdown.
It's in the weight room, right?
There's a countdown in the weight room right outside the cafeteria. There's one right outside this room right here.
When we say Michigan, you say what?
I say team up north, man. Team up north.
I love it.
He's only
been there for 6 months.
Hey,
and he's still,
listen. I had to buy in. I'd get slapped upside the head if I said that M word around here. So I might as well buy in.
Yeah.
What was the education process for you as a newbie on what the team up north game really means to this program?
For me, it was in the weight room in the winter. And just seeing that countdown clock. Like I came in, I remember on my visit, and I was wearing like it was like a darker blue hoodie. And I remember someone said something to me, and I was like, oh, like, damn, like I didn't even realize, like, I just thought it was like a nice little rowback, hoodie. Like, shoot, I gotta change.
Yeah.
So I had to take it off, and I was like, it was freezing cold. It was like January, and I was wearing a t-shirt on my visit. So it was kind of a little, baptism by fire. I had to kind of learn as I went, and the mistakes I made, I guess, were highlighted. So every time, you say the M word. I remember I was at dinner with Seth McLaughlin and his family and Coach Day on our visit, and I think might have been Seth's girlfriend or Seth's mom said, because they played last year, Alabama played the team up north in the Rose Bowl, obviously, and she was talking about it, and she said the M word, and Coach Day kind of like under his breath was like, team up north. And like, I was just like, from that point on, I was like, man, I can't call him that M word anymore.
I love that. That's awesome.
It's crazy. Hey, Will Howard, we know you guys have a busy week. We really, really appreciate you joining us ahead of Ohio State and Oregon. Best of luck. And it's been a ton of fun watching this program all season long. We can't wait to see what happens on Saturday. Thanks, Will.
We appreciate you, bro.
Thanks, buddy.
We appreciate you. Go
man.
ball out, my dog. I'm
yes,
rooting for
sir.
you.
Nice meeting y'all, man.
Yeah, nice meeting
appreciate y'all having me on.
Light it.
All right, welcome back to the Triple Option presented by the Wendy's. Just the two of us. We can make it if we try. All right, no Coach Urban Meyer again this week. We're thinking about you, Coach, thinking about everybody in Florida as well and in the path of Hurricane Milton. But let's do, for the first time ever, we're going to call it, Mark, 3 and Out. Viewer questions, actual questions from actual viewers. Again, if you follow us on social media at 3X Option Show, right there, you can fire off questions. You can send us your comments, and we're going to try to hit them every show. So here we go. Our first one from ATG 1987. What is your favorite big noon kickoff stops? This week, for the first time ever, we're headed to Utah, and we're going to see BYU. Cannot wait for that setting on Saturday. What's your favorite big noon kickoff stop?
First and foremost, I just want to say thank you to everyone who has hosted us on the Big Noon Kickoff, because all the shows are immaculate. And,
Agreed.
And I'm blessed to be going to these campuses and spending time with the best college football fans in the world. So I'm thankful to be all the stops. But there's 2 that stick out to my mind. One, last year, Colorado, when we had Lil Wayne, Gronk. That was insane. But then, just where we were 2 weekends ago, UCF, our biggest crowd we've had in Big Noon history. It was hot, but the energy was electric.
Hot? I don't remember. Was it hot?
Yeah, I sweated my whole back out.
Angel wings.
I learned that when it's hot, I need to wear darker colors. So you always live and you learn. But
Life
so
lessons.
I'd have to say those 2 stops were 2 in the front of my mind.
Yeah, I agree. Those ones pop out. For me, usually the answer is new places. Like, I get so excited when we get to a new location and what, we don't know what to expect. We don't know what's going to happen. Thankfully we're in the, the Ann Arbors and the Columbuses and the Happy Valleys on a regular basis. So we kind of know the jam there, but flying in hot to a new place always excites me. So I cannot wait to get to Provo.
New places is the obvious answer. Give us a real answer.
I'm with you. Those two spots absolutely resonate. Absolutely resonate.
Okay.
I got a question from AB Brawny. Rob, this is the loaded question mark that people love throwing me, and they don't realize how much pain it puts me in when they ask me this question. Rob, what do you enjoy talking about more, soccer or college football? Remember, you can throw bowling in there. You can throw college basketball as well. I love them both. It's totally equal. The one thing I do love about Mark being on the show right now is that when there is a soccer conversation, I can actually have a conversation.
You have a friend.
Like you and I are soccer friends. We can do this. The rest of the guys kind of like roll their eyes and they don't get it. And they don't understand it.
They be hating on my dog Stoner about the soccer stuff. And I'm like,
yeah, they need to move on from that.
I'm like, it's a beautiful game. It's a fun
literally
game.
is.
It's a physical game. It's an exciting game. I love both footballs. I love them.
There's nothing wrong with that. Listen, there's millions of people out there who love both footballs. All right. Gridiron Genius 1421. I love these names, by the way.
Gridiron Genius.
Gridiron Genius wants to know, what team did you enjoy playing against the most and why?
College, it would have to be Urban Meyer's Florida Gators. And why? It was because the stakes that were there. I knew when we played Florida my freshman year, it was to go to a national championship. I knew when we played Florida my second year, it was to go to a national championship. So going against the Gators, it was because they were the best team in the SEC at that point in time, and the stakes that were at hand. It was a national title implications. Not only SEC, which was basically like winning a national title. I know all the SEC people are going to hate that. I mean, all the people that don't like the SEC, the non-SEC people gonna hate that. But it was for an SEC title and it was for a national title. So I'd have to say the Gators. Also, the LSU Tigers playing in Death Valley.
Yeah,
we love beating up on the Barners. But yeah, Florida Gators.
The Barners.
Yeah, the Barners.
The Barners. You hesitated when I asked you that question. You made it sound like there might have been an NFL answer too.
Yeah, the NFL.
I guess not. Since you don't have one and I just asked you.
The Falcons. We love beating up on the
Falcons.
Because I was the Saints. You know, the Saints.
Oh,
the
all
Saints
right.
Falcons rivalry.
I was thinking Baltimore days and
But yeah, so then I could give you the Ravens answer too. The Steelers.
Yeah.
Hated them. You know what I mean?
What a great rivalry.
Yeah. Just that's what we love about sports.
Rivalries, baby.
Right? Yeah.
Love our rivalries. Are we ready? Are we ready for Pick Six, brought to you by BetMGM?
Yes,
you and I are doing some heavy lifting this week on Bet Six. Pick Six by BetMGM. Place your money line, prop, parlay, and same game parlay bets at BetMGM. Just download the app today. As always, please gamble responsibly. Again, we're going to pick these 6 games against the spread. Mark has his deuce dog of the week. And we remind everybody that these lines are current as of Tuesday, so they obviously can change. I'm gonna start first. We have Arizona at number 14, BYU. Cougars at home, live on Fox, live on Big Noon Kickoff.
Kickoff.
They were favored by 3.5. It's already grown to 5.5.
Wow.
Zona. They fell last week. They sit 3-2 overall. They're 1-1 in what is really a competitive Big 12. The Big 12 is so good this season. It's not getting enough love because of just what the Big 10 and the SEC is. But the Big 12 is going to get a lot of love on Big Noon Kickoff this week. Cougars, they're sitting there in a 4-way tie for second in the conference. You know who's first place in the Big 12, by the way? Texas Tech.
Wow.
Texas Tech. How about the Red Raiders? All right. So, Mark, when you historically think of BYU, all right, what comes to mind? I think I know the answers.
Taysom Hill.
Yep.
Jamal Williams.
Yeah. So offense, points, and passing, all those Heisman-type candidates and winners that have come through there. So, yes, they still have a good offense, but it's their D this year that has really grown to be the difference. Did some research. They are among the top 25 nationally in passing efficiency defense. That's at number 5. Passes intercepted. Scoring defense and total defense. And they are going to need it against a sneaky, explosive offensive team that is Arizona. Remember, the Wildcats, they've already come to the state of Utah, the Beehive State, and upset Utah earlier this season. But with BNK at BYU, enough said. BYU wins, covers, and they continue their push towards a playoff spot. Let's stay in the Big 12. Give me a scope of
Go Buffs.
Go Buffs. Number 18,
Go
Kansas
Buffs.
State. Favored in Boulder. The Buffs part of that group along with BYU that's tied for second in the Big 12.
You said it. The Big 12 is an exciting conference this year. It's a lot. It's wide open. And this game right here will have a lot to do with the Big 12 implications. We got Kansas State at Colorado. It's going to be an exciting matchup. Kansas State has one of my favorite players in the country, Avery Johnson, their quarterback. He's a beast. He's electric running the football. They have a running back.
Flow.
Yes. He got the flow going. And they run the football. You know me. I love when teams run that football. And they have DJ Giddens, their running back. They're the number 2 ranked rush offense in the Big 12. Guess what? Colorado just faced the number 1 ranked rush offense in UCF. We were there. And how'd
they do in that one?
They did really well.
Really
they stood up to the test.
Maybe the most impressive win of Deion Sanders' era.
They've had the most impressive win of the prime era when they played UCF 2 weeks ago because they both coming off a bye week. But when we talk about their most impressive win, they scored 48 points on offense. Their defense had 4 takeaways, 5 sacks. But Shedur's been sacked 17 times this year, so they have to find a way to protect him. They don't really run the ball, but they generate their run offense with some quick throws in the passing game. I'm going with the Buffs. I'm going with the deuce dog of the week. Let's go Buffs. It's because Kansas State's defense has been kind of like their backbone. That's the backbone. They've given up 58 points in the last 2 games. And with Shadur Sanders, Travis Hunter, Jimmy Horn Jr., LeJontay Wester, I'm going with the Buffs in the shootout, man. I think this defense is going to step up to the test like they did last week versus UCF. I'm going with the Buffs.
Hey, Colorado gets the win, Mark. They're going to be inside the top 25. They should. And that narrative about Deion and that program is just going to escalate massively. Let's swing to the Big Ten right now. Number 4, Penn State, a 5.5-point favorite in Southern Cal at USC. Now, remember, we talked about it earlier in the show with Matt. Trojans, once as high as number 11, lost 2 of their first 3 Big Ten games, including that loss at Minnesota. So they're out of the top 25 right now. As for Penn State, we were there last week. They eventually pulled away from struggling UCLA.
Mm-hmm.
They're all the way up at number 4 right now. So this kind of seems like 2 programs like going in different directions, right? But speaking of directions, Penn State is going in a different direction, as in all the way out to the West Coast.
Right.
And we have seen already, right, how impactful that travel has been in the Big Ten this season.
Michigan going to Washington.
Bingo. Thank you for backing me up. I think we are Penn State overvalued. I think they're kind of like a Missouri overvalued, maybe not that bad. And I think that USC, Matt doesn't want to hear it, but they have a path to the playoffs. And I think they're leaning into that. It is a must-win game at the Coliseum for the Trojans on Saturday, and they're going to do it. They're going to get the win. I'm calling another Big Ten upset. Let's pivot back to the SEC top 20 showdown. Ole Miss at number 9, Mark, a 3-point favorite at number 15 LSU. You're going to walk into Death Valley and you're going to be a favorite?
Walk into Death Valley and be a favorite. We know Death Valley is one of the most toughest places to play in all of sports in general. But let me tell you this. It's going to be a shootout, Stoner. Last year, these teams combined for 14 touchdowns and 1,343 yards in an Ole Miss win by 6 points. But let me tell you about this year. Jackson Dart leads the SEC in pass yards per game and he's second in pass touchdowns because Garrett Nussmeier is first in pass touchdowns and second in yards. So
the Nuss Dog.
Come on, the Nuss Dog. No, but it's going to be an electric game. It's going to be a shootout. Both these quarterbacks, both these offenses are very prolific, but I got the difference being Ole Miss's defense. Ole Miss's defense is a lot more stout than LSU's defense is right now at this point in time. But maybe this defense gets a big lift from the crowd. What's the line? What's the line?
3 points Ole Miss is favored by.
Ole Miss 3 points? Ooh. Hey, I'm taking Ole Miss. I'm taking Ole Miss in Death Valley. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry. All my Louisiana people gonna be mad at me, but it's
That's
still
all right.
that. It's still
That's
who
right.
that.
They still know how awesome you are. This one, I think, is going to be a playoff elimination game. The loser of this one is in real dire straits to move on to the playoffs. All right, let's go to the beautiful Cotton Bowl in Dallas, Texas. Number 1, Texas, returning back to the top of the poll. They got 52 out of 61 first place votes. They take on number 18, Oklahoma.
The Red River rivalry. You can never underestimate these games. And guess what? You want a saucy nug?
Tell me. Oh, a bonus saucy nug from Wendy's?
Want a saucy nug?
I love saucy nugs.
Steve Sarkisian is 1-2 against Oklahoma.
Ooh. No bueno.
No bueno.
Makes you think. Is that what you're telling me?
No, it's not what I'm telling you.
Okay.
Oklahoma, the strength of their team has been their defensive unit. They're averaging almost 4 sacks a game, giving up about just 16 points per game. So, doing good. But last time they played, they gave up 338 passing yards to Auburn. And we know what Texas likes to do. Texas likes to spin the ball around the yard. Quinn Ewers had that oblique injury.
I think he's going to be back.
Yep. He had that oblique injury. He's coming back. They're one of 3 FBS teams averaging 300-plus yards per game passing and 190 rushing yards passed per game with Ole Miss. And guess who? The Fighting Signettes of Indiana. They got the number 1 scoring defense in the SEC, number 2 in the FBS, number 2 pass defense in the FBS. I'm going with the Longhorns, man. Hook 'em, baby. I'm going with the hook 'em in this one. I just don't think they have enough offensively. They're in I think Oklahoma's in a kind of like an identity crisis offensively. They benched their quarterback. Now they got Michael Hawkins Jr. starting, a true freshman quarterback. They're going against Texas team who is hungry, and they on a mission. So I'm going
Weird
with the
things happen in that game, though.
They do.
As of late.
And like I told you, the Saucy Nug, he's 1-2 versus the Sooners.
I love the bonus Saucy Nug. So does Wendy's. All right. The game, though, this Saturday, number 2 versus number 3. First time this season, Oregon is an underdog. Ohio State's going cross-country. Mark, their favorite.
You already said that cross-country.
I know those cross-country ones they're tricky, man. They scare me. This one obviously has been circled, not just by college football fans, but by these programs for months. I see this one as kind of a mid-season preview of the Big Ten championship game. Both certainly impressive, but both, Mark, have question marks, right? The Buckeyes, they haven't been tested just because the opposition hasn't been there yet. What are you going to do, right? What are you going to do? You just play the teams that are on your schedule.
Right.
Last week, they were only up 7-0 at the half on Iowa, able to turn it on. The thing I really like about Ohio State this year, and Will Howard mentioned it a little bit, they're more physical. They are tougher on both lines of the scrimmage, not just offensively, but defensively.
Yep.
Remember, they kind of had that soft reputation. People were trying to push that out there in Ohio State. That is not the narrative this year in Columbus. And then it's all those game changers. It's not just the game changers out wide. It's the game changers that you can hand the ball back to.
Them are beasts.
Now I'm talking your language, right?
Them are beasts.
Early struggles, particularly on that offensive line and stopping the run. But, they snuck by Ashton Genty and Boise State at home, even though Genty ran all over them. But I feel like they've kind of figured things out a little bit since then. Dan Lanning feels like this team is more of what he thought it would be. But red zone, the red zone gives me pause. Dylan Gabriel, remember 2 red zone picks last week, Friday night, in that win over Michigan State. I love the Ducks. I think Oregon is a playoff team. But right now, I trust what Ohio State is more. So I like Ohio State to go cross-country to win and to cover. That would, they're going to win and cover because they're favored. You with me on that one, or just kind of?
I'm with you.
That's a tough one, man. It is. I cannot.
It doesn't. This isn't a playoff elimination game either.
Correct.
Right. So,
both teams are. It's the
Big Ten hierarchy.
There you go. Yeah, this is kind of for first place in the Big Ten.
This is for a statement.
Mark, how about the big triple option news? We're hitting the road for the first time ever. We are going to Washington, D.C. in December for Army, Navy, courtesy of USAA. How about that? We're road tripping, baby.
Let's go!
We're road tripping on top of Big Noon kickoff. And if there's a place out there that you want to see us show up throughout the season, who knows? Maybe we might be able to cobble something together just fire it in the comment section. Say, hey, man, I want the triple option in, where do I want? You know where I want to go? I want to go to the Dakotas. I want to go to one of those like kind
Me
of
too. I've never been.
lower programs that don't get enough love that
North
are really
Dakota
doing great
State
things
or something
in their
like
community.
that.
Yeah. Throw me into like a Minnesota, one of those D3 programs. I would love to show up there. If you have some thoughts, please throw it in the comment section. As always, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you find your podcast, as well as across social media at 3X Option Show. Again, our thoughts are going out to everybody out in Florida right now, everybody who is in the path of Hurricane Milton. Coach Meyer, we're thinking about you. We're thinking about your family. We're thinking about all of our friends in the Sunshine State.
You,
Mark, I know you're there right now. I think you're going to be okay. I'm thinking about you, but I'm thinking about Coach and all the other people in the great Tampa Bay area as well. A little bit
all
more.
my Floridians, be safe. We
Please
love
be
you.
safe.
We
Get
stand
out.
strong
Get out.
together.
Be safe. Be smart. And
We love
while
the
you're
Sunshine
driving,
State.
while you're driving away from Hurricane Milton, you know,
throw on the
listen to the triple
3X
option, man.
show.
Throw it on. Yeah,
Yeah.
new episodes drop every Wednesday. As always, we want to thank our sponsors. Man, we love our sponsors.
We love our
Bet
sponsors.
MGM and ZipRecruiter. And also a huge thanks to our buddy, our big noon buddy, Matt Leinart, stepping in for Coach Meyer. And you can hear his show, Throwbacks with Jerry Ferrara, every single Thursday. We will see you next week on The Triple Option.
Triple Option is a show for the people, and we love the people. So the people, please let us know where you want us to go, where you want us to be, and we gonna do it.
We're people pleasers.
Yes, we are. We are. We love you.